You know, when it's 85 degrees in December, it can be kind of hard to imagine getting cozy in blankets with cups of hot chocolate and reading Christmas stories around the fireplace. Sometimes Christmas school has to look a little bit different. If you've been watching 7 and All for a while, you know that here on 7 and All, I'm talking about a multi-generational homeschool. My youngest sisters are in 10th grade and in 5th grade, and then I have 2 young sons who are in toddler preschool age. I will be linking to in the description below a playlist that's hosted by the Waldock Way and Rooted in Rest that is a whole playlist of a bunch of homeschool moms talking about what their December homeschool plans are, how they handle December in their homeschools, to give you ideas and inspiration and just kind of the fun, nerdy peek inside into how different people do December homeschool. So you can check it out. So I'll kind of share both the September plans for both families for the different ages and levels that we have. So in December, the 10th grader and the 5th grader will be continuing with all of their normal schoolwork. We already basically practice a system where it's not necessarily every single thing has to be done and we have to finish everything by a certain date and by a certain time. We are lifelong homeschoolers, very much go with the flow of life. So we don't have, oh, you must finish 18 weeks of Sunlight curriculum within 18 calendar weeks. We don't kind of live by that system anyways. We know ourselves, we're very nerdy and pro-education. So we do get a lot of schoolwork done, but we adjust very much based on the day. So if my 10th grade sister will have a doctor's appointment, she's clearly not going to get as much school done on that day as she would on a day that she doesn't have anything going on. So if we do have extra Christmas activities or any events that happen in December, her schoolwork just will adjust as needed. But where we live, we are very, very recently coming out of lockdown, coming out of everything being closed and canceled and no gatherings. So I would be surprised if there's actually very many events related to Christmas going on. Where we are, there isn't likely to be many events. I don't even know if we will be able to have any church events at all. So for us, December is really not gonna be a busy time. So we're expecting that they will be able to continue with their schoolwork as normal. Of course, flexible as always, because that's just our norm. But we will be adding on for them the 25 days of Christmas calendar, which we created and we sell on our website, the 25 Days of Christmas. I'll be talking a little bit later in this video exactly how we're using this, how we're adapting it for high school down to a preschooler. But this will be added on to their days, but this is so much more light and fun. It's not really gonna be, and quick, it's not gonna be something that's like, oh, I can't do my chemistry because I have to celebrate Christmas. When you have, especially when you have high schoolers that are studying advanced topics like chemistry and trigonometry, taking off a long break can not really be all that helpful anyways. And for the 5th grader, she's at a stage where she's very independent. She actually thrives much more with structure in her day than with having a ton of free time. So it would be not that helpful to anyone to just take out her schoolwork routine. So they will be continuing with their schoolwork. For my boys, I am making a little bit of a bigger change. We normally do purely preschool or puramente preescolar, as the Spanish portion of our bilingual preschool routine. And those are themed lessons that I create that incorporate reading storybooks, singing songs, and doing simple preschool activities in Spanish. Now, because we will be doing our Christmas countdown as daily picture books, songs, and activities in Spanish, that is already satisfying the Spanish portion of our preschool routine. We try to incorporate as much Spanish as we can in conversation and in life throughout our days. It is the minority language for our family, so we really try to emphasize it. So our Christmas unit will be our Spanish studies for the month of December. will be the structure that helps me as a non-native Spanish speaker to continue working on bringing more Spanish into my boy's life throughout the day. But my older son, my 3.5-year-old, has really been showing a lot of self-motivated interest in letters and numbers recently, so I'm not going to be stopping or dropping what we're working on for the alphabet and for early math skills at all, because if he's in a stage where he's really interested in it, where he's kind of coming up with math activities on his own, it would also be counterproductive to take a break from that at this very receptive stage, a stage when he's very interested. He has recently been calling me and saying, "Mama, I have schoolwork for you," and then I'll come. And the other day he had set 27, I know this because I had to count them for my schoolwork assignment, 27 small pebbles on our table, all in a line, and he asked me to count them. So I counted them. There were 27. And then he took one away and then said, "Now how many are there?" So then we had to keep doing that for quite a while to get down from 27. Trust me, I am not setting up activities where he needs to count to 27, but I think he's trying to challenge his mama. But we will be continuing with that. We use preschool math at home as kind of a guide for our games, and I'm able to lead them semi in English, semi in Spanish, just depending on the day and how it's going. We'll be continuing those, but we will be having a lot of fun with our Christmas unit, and I'm going to show you that right now and talk to you about exactly how I'm going to use it for my homeschool. Every family is going to end up using it a little bit different. All right, guys, so here's my master plan for December homeschool that I'll be sharing with you. You'll notice that I have both versions of our 25 Days of Christmas guide printed out. I will link to our website down below where you can find these available for sale on where'dyoulearnthat.com. I have the English version, which is what my mom will be using at home. And I have the Spanish version, which is what I will be using in my home. And they are largely the same, only the big difference is, well, this one's written in Spanish. The songs and the books are different. And that's pretty much it. Just the songs and the books are different. And, of course, the base language. But so what we'll be doing in our days is each day, so December 1st, we'll be hanging up a card. And how I'm planning to hang them up here is I bought these little mini clothespins, and I have some yarn. And I haven't decided 100% yet where I will hang them up. You can let me know what you think. Should I hang them up along the railing of my curved staircase that you can always see in my videos? Like, should I put the string along my staircase? Or else I might actually do it at the bottom of one of my windows. I could do it at the top, but I have really little children, and I didn't want it to be so far away from their heads and where they can see them. So I'm actually thinking maybe I'll just make a string kind of along the bottom of my windows, hang them up there where they can see and interact with the cards more during the day. Let me know what you think would be the better idea. And I am going to laminate my set. This is my mom's set because it's in English, but I am planning to laminate my set because, again, I want this to be more interactive, more hands-on for my boys, and 2- and 3-year-olds and non-laminated hands-on stuff doesn't tend to work out all that well. Also, because we're in the tropics, if I leave the cards unlaminated, they are going to curve and get warped while they're hanging up. But I think if you're living in a colder, drier climate, you definitely could go without laminating them at all. So we'll be hanging up a card each day using our little clothespins. And when we hang up our card, we're going to talk about what the symbol is on the card. I'll show the English guide because I think more people are going to find that very understandable. So we'll talk about angels and the role that they played in the Christmas story. We'll read some scripture, we'll be singing a song, and reading a picture book. Those are the things that are very applicable to my age, and the age of my kids is reading about it, talking about it, reading the Bible. Of course, you can do with any age, reading a picture book and singing a song, and then I'll be doing the preschool activity with my kids, which a lot of times there's a worksheet or else it's more of a hands-on preschool activity. The Feeling Extra and the Low Prep activities tend to be multi-age, so some of them you could do with preschoolers. I could watch a Christmas movie with my preschoolers. There are 2 versions of a Christmas scavenger hunt for this day, so one of them requires kids to be able to read, so I couldn't do that with my kids. But I think I'm still debating exactly how we're going to do this. I want to be able to include my husband, but I also know by the time he gets from work during this busy end of the school year season and exams and grading and all of that, there might not be very much time. So what I'm thinking that we're going to do is we'll just make it a habit to talk to Papa at the end of the day about whatever our symbol was for that day. Talk to Papa about the poinsettias or about la estrella, the star, about holly and mistletoe, and kind of do a little very, very casual narration, and mostly working on identifying what is on the card. Tell him maybe we can play some songs at night. We definitely can do some Christmas family movie nights, because I do want to involve my husband in our December routines. We do have coordinated coloring pages, and my son is just starting to get into coloring, so I think I will print off a copy of coloring pages for both of them. They will not turn out to be great works of art, but it will be probably a great idea to just read and talk about it, or read the story while they color, because they're both showing a lot of interesting coloring right now. Now, for my sisters, this is going to look quite a bit different, because they're older, they're much more independent. So they can do this with my mom or my dad, or they will definitely just be able to do it together if my parents are having a busy day. And then the 14-year-old and 10-year-old can hang up the new card each day. We always love countdowns or count-ups to Christmas, so I am sure that it will not get forgotten. Also, it will be especially special, especially special for our family to be hanging up these cards on our walls, because they were painted by my sister, who is away in college right now and whose presence is very, very much missed in our family, very much so around the holidays. She was our chef and our baker, who was always making wonderful, wonderful treats and planning fun things for the family. She is... her presence is greatly missed, so I think it will be very special for her sisters to be hanging up all these drawings she created and decorating our house with her art this year. And I am going to ask them before I print off copies of the coloring pages for them, but I suspect that they will also want to try their hand at coloring the artwork she created. And then the activities that will be more appropriate for them will be the low prep and the Feeling Extra activities. And I'm not so sure if the picture books would be that interesting to the 14-year-old, but some of them I know are new to her. So, but the 10-year-old definitely would still be very interested in picture books. She loves picture books, and these are not like very little kiddish type of picture books. So we don't have all of them, but I do include the links to the read aloud. So like this one I love, Jackie's Gift, but we don't have a real physical copy of it, but this is a link to the read aloud video. So that if you can't get your hands on a copy of the book, you can still enjoy the stories of the picture books. And so this, you can tell, it's going to be a very, very easy add-on to our schedule, very easy to adapt for the Spanish-speaking family, for the English-speaking family with big kids. And I'm actually thinking a couple of the days, I'm hoping and planning that we'll be able to get together with my siblings and we'll make some of these recipes that we have planned. It must be the Michigander in me, but we make hot chocolate mix every single Christmas, and then we drink steaming cups of hot chocolate in the heat, you know. It might not make total sense, but there's just something that feels right about it. We also hope to get together with some of their friends that we have not seen much in the last year and a half, because there's been so many lockdowns, isolation, all of that. So I'm really hoping that we can kind of use this as a little bit of spurring us to do some things with neighborhood kids that we know, have some friends over to make cookies together and have friends over to do a Christmas movie night. We really want to slowly, as we can, start inviting people over now that we have a house that we can invite people to, and we can make things together and celebrate Christmas together. So that is our December homeschooling plan. If you enjoyed this video, I appreciate it so much if you will give it a like. And if you are new to our channel and you want to continue following our rather unique, multi-generational, multicultural, bilingual homeschooling family overseas, then go ahead and subscribe down below.